moment. All right, there we go. We took just a moment, a little bit of technical difficulties over there on our video stream, but we are now live over on YouTube. We are live on X. We are live on Facebook. It's good to have everybody along for the ride. As Mad City Brew says, Brewers keep turning up the heat. Yeah. Oh, come see what's brewing. I'll tell you that much. As the Brewers get 2 wins over Kansas City over the last couple of days. But let's start with tonight's starting lineups. As we do each and every show, we start with the starting lineups, and let's start with, of course, your Milwaukee Brewers, who are the road team tonight out in San Diego. And here is how Pat Murphy is lining up his squad. Leading off at second base, Bryce Terang. Batting second in left field, Jackson Chourio. Batting third at first base, Jake Bauers. The cleanup hitter is the third baseman, Andrew Vaughn. Batting fifth and center field, Garrett Mitchell. All right, I've won 5 spots, and I have not mentioned Yelich, and I have not mentioned Contreras. Batting sixth and behind the plate tonight, William Contreras. Batting seventh as the DH, Christian Yelich. Batting eighth in right field, Luis Lara. And batting ninth at shortstop is David Hamilton. For the Brewers, it's Terang, Chourio, Bauers, Vaughn, Mitchell, Contreras, Yelich, Lara, and Hamilton. Those are your 9 starters. So to review, Contreras is batting 6th, Yelich is batting 7th, and Vaughn is at third base again. Just the 3rd start of his career at third base. The second one was yesterday. Let's get to the San Diego Padres. Leading off in right field, Fernando Tatis Jr. Batting second at second base for the San Diego Padres is Jake Cronenworth. Batting third at third base, Manny Machado. The cleanup hitter, the first baseman, Ty France. Batting fifth in center field, Jackson Merrill. Batting sixth in left field, Luis Rengifo. In the outfield, we got left field Luis Rengifo tonight. By the way, hitting .324 as a member of the Padres. What? Batting seventh as the DH, Gavin Sheets. Batting eighth as the catcher, Freddie Freeman. Freddie Fermin. Freddie Freeman. Freeman's on the next team that the Brewers are going to play. And batting ninth at shortstop is Sungmoon Song. So for the Padres, it's Tatis Jr., Cronenworth, Machado, France, Merrill, Rengifo, Sheets, Fermin, and Song. Those are your starting 9 for the Brewers and the Padres. All right. This is the start of a 7-game road trip, as I mentioned. Brewers heading to San Diego and then heading to L.A. Logan Henderson on the mound tonight for the Crew, 6-1 with a 2.70 ERA. Casey Mize, I should say, on the mound for the San Diego Padres, and he is 4-7 on the season with a 3.40 ERA. So this is going to be a matchup of a guy that was rumored to be in trade talks and a guy that was traded at the deadline. Casey Mize traded from the Detroit Tigers to the San Diego Padres at the deadline. One that I would have been happy with the Brewers grabbing at the trade deadline. Of course, they got Dustin May instead. And Logan Henderson was a guy who was tossed around, his name at least was, in rumors about a possible deal for Tarek Skubal. So both of these guys had interesting weeks heading into the deadline. One's on a new team, one is not, and we'll see how they match up tonight. Casey Mize, by the way, had a bad outing in his first outing as a Padre. He went 3 1/3 and gave up 8 runs. So we'll see if that bounces back tonight. Brewers coming in 74-44 on the season. Padres 62-57. It is an 8:40 first pitch tonight in San Diego. Quick programming note as well. This will be our only pregame show of the week. I'll be out coming up the rest of the week, taking a little trip, but I'll be back coming up for the next homestand. So looking forward to that. All right, so here's the news of the day. We always start with the news of the day, right? No roster moves other than Bryce Wilson cleared waivers. He was outrighted to AAA Nashville, and then he cleared waivers. He cleared waivers. Here's the sequence of it. Cleared waivers, outrighted to Nashville, elected free agency. So he is a free agent, is Bryce Wilson now. Instead of going to the minor leagues, he wants to take his chances to try to sign a major league deal with a team. Otherwise, the news of the day is that William Contreras is batting 6th tonight. And of course, we have been monitoring where Christian Yelich has been batting. Right? He's down to 7th in the lineup now. And William Contreras, for the first time this season, is hitting lower than the cleanup spot. He's hitting lower than fourth for the first time this season. Why? Look at his numbers since July 1st. He's batting 179 since July 1st with 2 home runs, 9 runs driven in. That's 117 at-bats. So then you look at other guys, right? Jake Bauers since July 1st. So who is Pat Murphy replacing Contreras with in the 3 or 4 spot? Well, the 3 spot tonight is Jake Bauers. He's batting 269 since July 1st, and he's got 6 home runs and 17 runs driven in. So about triple the amount of home runs and nearly double the amount of runs driven in. So that makes sense that Bauers is hitting third tonight. Then Andrew Vaughn. He's batting cleanup tonight since July 1st, 237, which isn't, great, but it's not horrible. And then he's got 3 home runs and he's got the same amount of RBI at 9. The thing about Vaughn is he's had about 50 less at bats. So Vaughn has 50 less at bats than Contreras, but yet has 1 more home run, the same amount of runs driven in, and even has more walks, 1 less strikeout. So his strikeout rate for Vaughn hasn't been great since July 1st, but the walks, he's walked more than Contreras in, again, 50 less at bats. He's hit 1 more home run, and he's had the same amount of RBI. It just makes sense for Murph to do this. And as I mentioned, Vaughn not only cleanup tonight, but he's also at third base again for the second straight day. Murph putting him in the lineup and putting him at third base. And Joey Ortiz, we'll get to him in a moment, but Joey Ortiz obviously not available, not on the IL, but not available. And instead of putting Bay over there, Iwan Bay, who they signed yesterday and played second base, who has never played third base in the major leagues, they are going with Andrew Vaughn over there. This is what Murph had to say yesterday after the game about Andrew Vaughn being at third base and what he saw from him yesterday.
Vaughn's a baseball player. You know what I mean? It's like asking somebody that's a veteran baseball player to do something they haven't done before. They're not going to be panicked about it. He went over there and played, and did the job, made 2 plays, made a play on the run, made a play to his left, caught some pop-ups. I told him, hey, be ready for left field. You never know.
That's Pat Murphy for you, right? Hey, be ready for left field. You never know what's coming at you. And look, for Andrew Vaughn, he looked pretty natural over there. I mean, he really did. And remember the days, and I know the Brewers prioritize defense, and teams do now, maybe more than ever, especially the Brewers, obviously. But remember the days where you had big guys, you had home run hitting guys, you had your power guys at the corners of the infield. And it seems like that's becoming a little less the case. Now, there are also really good defenders that also hit for power, i.e. maybe a Nolan Arenado in his heyday, even a Manny Machado, right? Not that, Machado is as an elite defender as Nolan Arenado, but you've seen guys be able to play that position, of the stature of Andrew Vaughn. And he was able to do that yesterday. And I think Murph knew that. Obviously, we've seen prior to yesterday, we had seen Vaughn at third base 6 times this year, none of which were starts until yesterday. And yesterday was the 7th game of the year over there, his first start. And today will be number 8 with his second start and just the 3rd of his career. But as Murph said, the guy's a ball player. And the Brewers have a lot of ball players on this baseball team. And I think that showed incredibly clearly yesterday. That win yesterday was special. There are 162 games in a season. Not every win is going to be special. Some are going to stand out more than others. Some are going to be boring, right? Maybe you win 5-0 and there's nothing really to write home about in a game, right? The Brewers, I think they beat the Pittsburgh Pirates like 5-0, like in the late April. Okay, great. The thing was, they've been the best team in Major League Baseball since that win. So I guess it was memorable in that sense. But otherwise, you don't really remember some of those, right? You don't necessarily remember beating the Royals early in the year. You don't necessarily remember the games against the Guardians. Like some things other than Cooper Pratt's debut, but you don't remember exactly some of those wins. Yesterday, I think, is one that you're going to remember for obviously a couple of reasons. Luis Lara's catches, Jake Bauers' walk-off home run, but also the way in which they got there. A guy they signed in the morning playing second base and dropping down 2 bunts. A guy who's your platinum glover over there at second base playing shortstop. A guy who is making his second ever start at the major league level at third base in Andrew Vaughn. So that's a few examples, right? You had Jake Bauers, who's just can be good in right field, can be good at first base, can put you anywhere. William Contreras, who had the day off, but then ends up catching in the 10th because they want to pinch run Yelly in the 10th, in the 9th, and so Contreras had to pinch run in the 10th. Yelly pinch ran in the 9th, so Contreras had to catch in the 10th because Gary Sanchez was taken out of the game. Yelly pinch running, right? Pat Murphy said to us after the game yesterday, like some superstars would look at you and say, why didn't you pinch hit me for Gary Sanchez? Why am I running instead? That's not what these guys do. They try to do what's best for the team. And this is what Pat Murphy had to say yesterday when talking about how big of a win that was, and more so the type of win that it was.
We're banged up as a team can be, and we're going into a 7-game stretch against 2 of the best teams in the National League, and that's just the way it is on the road. Maybe we'll come together even more. I don't know, but this win today was really solidified in my mind what a great bunch we have.
And he's had great bunches for years in Milwaukee, right? I mean, just think about these teams that have done so many selfless things to get to where they are and to play for the greater good of the whole. The whole team instead of just me or I. It's a lot of team. And that's exactly what Pat Murphy said yesterday when talking about Contreras and Yelich and saying, the roles they had played in the 9th and 10th innings. Yelly pinch running in the 9th, Contreras catching in the 10th, and saying that's team. Literally, that was his quote. That's team. And it's exactly right. And I think yesterday's win was perfectly timed with heading out west, because you lose in crushing fashion yesterday, whether it be in the 10th or maybe in the 9th, or you allow a run in the 8th and you lose, whatever it is, you lose. And that flight to San Diego is even longer than it actually was, right? It feels even longer than a flight that is long to begin with. But they get the win. They get on the plane happy. And I think that can carry over to this 7-game stretch. So far, they've played 10 games into this 17 games and 17-day stretch. They have won every series. They took 2 of 3 in LA. They took 3 of 4 against Pittsburgh. And then they took 2 of 3 against Minnesota. They're 7-3 in their first 10 of this stretch. Now, the back half of the stretch at San Diego, at LA to face the Dodgers, that is obviously tougher than the first part of this stretch, especially when you talk about opponent and you talk about being on the road and being on the West Coast. There's no doubt about it. But I think yesterday's win gives you, kind of propels you and says, if we can win that way, imagine when, we're at full strength, or imagine when we got our guys back, like when, Pratt comes back or Joey Ortiz is available, or, Contreras and Yelly hitting, right? So I think that can give you a ton of confidence. And as Pat Murphy said, it shows you the type of group that you have in the room. And it's so impressive that this team is 30 games over 500. Why is it impressive? Think about it. They're without Woodruff, who obviously you didn't exactly know what you were going to get from him, but you expected to have most of the season with him, I think. Didn't happen. Quinn Priester, you obviously expected to be a major part of your rotation after he was last year. Didn't happen. Is not playing in 2026. And Yelly and Contreras just have not been producing over the last month and a half. Despite that, the Brewers continue to win. They're 5-6 games over 500 in July. They've started August really well, right? They've started August. So August 1st, would have been a week ago Saturday against LA. So they're 1-1, and then they're 4-2, and then they were 6-3. They're 6-3 in August so far, and they just keep winning. It's incredible. I mean, and just finding gritty ways to win. Not every team can do that. There are teams that are really good at losing close games, right? And losing the type of game that the Brewers won yesterday. They maybe don't win that game if Luis Lara doesn't make two incredible catches. If Abner Uribe doesn't find it and get that last out. If Aaron Ashby doesn't get out of his inning. Like there were times where that thing got on the edge. What's going to happen? But the Brewers came through. Think of how much confidence that can give you. And also, if you were at the game anytime over the weekend, it was great. Three sellouts. The ballpark was buzzing all 3 days. It was awesome. Great bar dice giveaway on Saturday, and then Sesame Street Day on Sunday, and they won for Elmo. Always good to win for Elmo. But that moment when Luis Lara made that second catch, he goes down, he's checked out by the trainer, and then he gets up and he stays in the game and he acknowledges the crowd as the crowd's yelling and the crowd's chanting Lara. That was awesome. And he yesterday told us how much it meant to him. You know, I asked him, I was like, you know, how meaningful was that to you? And he said that was the first time it really has happened in his career that something like that has happened when it came to being acknowledged like that from the fans. And he felt it. If you were part of that crowd yesterday, good on you. Well done. Perfectly timed. And then DL Hall showing maybe some of the most emotion I have ever seen out of DL Hall, being able to get out of that 10th inning. It is so hard to get out of that 10th inning without allowing a run. And DL Hall was able to do it yesterday. So all in all, just an incredible, incredible display by the Milwaukee Brewers. And again, showing why that organization just knows the right buttons to push. And Pat Murphy himself as well, just doing the right things to go out and win that baseball game. And that's exactly what the Brewers did yesterday. Just a full team win. They used everybody that was available on that bench yesterday. Everybody that was available. Joey Ortiz wasn't available. He was the only active player that did not get in the game on the position player side yesterday. Yeah. So, and an update on Joey Ortiz. Joey Ortiz ran on the field today per Kurt Hogan. The Journal Sentinel says he's available if the team needs him to play tonight. Said his back and neck tightened up during the game on Saturday. So it was on Saturday, kind of after that first swing, as Pat Murphy told us Saturday night. So if you've been wondering why Joey Ortiz has not been playing, the last couple of days it's been because of injury. Before that, I cannot explain necessarily, other than what Pat Murphy gave us, and that was certain righties he does not have a good matchup against, and so they don't play him in those matchups. Otherwise, that's about it. Otherwise, so that's the update when it comes to Joey Ortiz, and I would think he just might be back in the lineup tomorrow. Sophia Minert, Brewers TV, saying that Joey Ortiz continues treatment for neck stiffness. Pat Murphy said Ortiz will likely be ready tomorrow or the next day. So tomorrow, the next day, it looks like where you can find Joey Ortiz back in a lineup near you. And at that point, I would think you'd put Ortiz at third, Hamilton at short, and then you'd have Vaughn back to his kind of platoon area as well. But we'll see. We'll see what Pat Murphy decides. But tonight, Vaughn is back over there at third base. And to be honest, I think something that you have to remember and something that can't go unnoticed. I know he's a young player, but to lose Cooper Pratt is significant here. The guy was batting .272 through his first month and a half in the big leagues, .352 on base, 10 stolen bases in 44 games. You're losing something offensively. I mean, you brought Cooper Pratt up, and he has been producing. He has been a major part of your offense. I mean, think of how important the bottom of the order has been. Luis Lara, Cooper Pratt, even David Hamilton as of late. I know we've been wanting Joey Ortiz to play, but boy, David Hamilton, a few games here coming up, big double yesterday to give the Brewers a 3-run lead or a 3-1 lead. I know eventually they the Twins tied it, but But man, they're going to miss Pratt here. And Pat Murphy said yesterday there's no telling exactly how long Pratt will be out. We have not gotten an update from San Diego yet today on that. But that is significant. So hopefully it is a shorter term stint. David Hamilton was a pretty short stint when he was on the IL with his hamstring injury. Hopefully it is the same for Cooper Pratt. Keep those comments coming over on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Appreciate everyone chiming in over there. Let's see. Luke says, does your trip happen to be to Southern California? It is not. I am not going on the road to see the Brewers. Good question, Luke. What's up, everybody? Appreciate Gilbert chiming in. Yes, absolutely. Hit that like button, subscribe so you always know when we go live. Jessman says, do the Brewers have the best defensive outfield in the game? Mitchell, Lara, Frelick, Lockridge. Boy, Jessman, you're on to something there. And look, that's what the Brewers pride themselves on is defense, so it's not surprising that they have really good defenders out there. I think Mitchell's really good. I think he's gotten more aggressive as the year's gone on. I think he's got more comfortable out there as the year has gone on, I should say. I think Luis Lara is still learning, out there, definitely. I think Pat Murphy said as much the last couple of days, just saying that, yeah, he's still learning out there. But he is showing how good he can be. And look, Churio's not exceptional, but he's definitely serviceable. So, with Churio out there in left, I don't know if I can say they have the best outfield in the game, but they're close. I mean, Churio could play center field. Luis Lara can play center field. You have basically 3 center fielders out there. And that's the thing, like when you have Joey Ortiz and Bryce Terang on the infield too, and then you could say Cooper Pratt, like when you have Ortiz, Pratt, and Bryce on the infield, and you have Churio, Mitchell, and Lara in the outfield, you literally have 3 center fielders in the outfield and 3 shortstops in the infield. And that is really sound defense. And then think of that offensive lineup as well. Jackson Churio, by the way, just red hot right now. 4 home runs on that homestand. Absolutely sensational. But think about that. Then you have the offense that Churio is given you, especially as of late. Mitchell, he's been a little bit of a slump as of late, but he's had a really good season overall. Luis Lara, not as great offensively as of late. Burst onto the scene at first, kind of a little bit of a dive, but hoping to get better there. So just think about the offense. Obviously, Bryce Terang, we all know what he can do offensively. Ortiz has been great, 343 in his last 23 games heading into Saturday night's one at bat. So, he's been really good. And Cooper Pratt, like I mentioned, 272 in his young career. You're not like giving up offense either. That's the cool part. You're not giving up offense when these guys are out there. So hopefully Pratt comes back soon and we could see him back in the uniform and out there on the field real soon. Gilbert says Vaughn played a good hot corner yesterday. Yeah, we're going to see it again. Andrew Vaughn back at third base coming up here tonight. Gilbert says Lockridge is a beast. We need to see more of him. Yeah, it's interesting. Yesterday, I believe, his first start since he came back. First or second. He's been obviously in the cooler, as they say. But how about him coming in and scoring the winning run on Saturday night? I know it's kind of overshadowed because we didn't, have a show yesterday, so we didn't really talk about Saturday night's game. But think about that. Just his speed getting home, his speed to steal second. Incredible. Just the definition of being ready. And that's exactly what he was on Saturday night. And then, of course, starting yesterday. So appreciate everyone chiming in. We'll get to more comments here on the other side. Got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to more of your comments. Keep them coming over there on YouTube. We'll get into the Logan Henderson, Casey Mize matchup for tonight. We will also get into the bullpen report, who is available, who is not available. That's all coming up. It's all right around the corner as we get you set for late night baseball. Get that coffee ready and get the Brewers on the television. Brewers and Padres, 8:40 tonight. Brewers going for their 3rd straight win and trying to go 31 games over 500 for the first time this season. Trying to get their 75th win on August 10th. Oh, man. Fires you up, doesn't it? It's the Baseball Pregame Show. I'm Hunter Baumgardt. We're presented by Import Minded right here on Fox Sports 920.
Your one stop for advertising? Call 844-844-IHEART.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Charged with an OWI, it's not just a ticket. It's on your record permanently and can affect your career or your ability to travel. One mistake shouldn't ruin your life. Contact Grieve Law for your OWI defense. GrieveLaw.com.
Tracy, why are you wearing a cape?
I've created the League of Home Defenders, Jason, personally protecting my house from furnace failure.
Yeah, but you can't even fix a furnace.
No, but I can stand near it heroically.
Or join Merle's League for real. 2 tune-ups a year, priority service, no diagnostic fees. Capital does the defending.
Okay, I'll give up the cape. After all, in August, you're also giving $100 off a humidifier or air cleaner.
Good call, Tracy. Call Capital.
Call CapitalCares.com.
No required subscriptions, no trial periods, no surprise charges, no monthly fees. iHeartRadio is different. It's 100% free. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Group, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
Drew Olson here. When a company's been serving our communities for more than 40 years, that tells me a lot about that particular company. Donovan & Jorgensen Heating and Cooling is the largest employee-owned HVAC company in the state of Wisconsin. That's what sets them apart, and they would love the chance to earn your business. Right now, they're offering a 60-month, 0% interest on qualifying Air Ease Pro Series with 3 locations, West Allis, New Berlin, and McWanago. Go to DonovanJorgensen.com for more information. That's DonovanJorgensen.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Skechers elite athlete OG Anunoby has been making history on the basketball court.
Anunoby tips it in. Unbelievable. What a shot.
He's been balling out in Skechers high-performance basketball sneakers, and the world is noticed. But how does OG train off the court to keep in peak physical condition? Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins Aeroburst. They help prepare OG for the physical demands of playing at a championship level. Get your pair of Aeroburst for only $165 at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever high-performance running shoes are sold.
Today, we tip our wrench to Rock Auto customer Dylan.
I actually used to manage a parts department for a car dealership, and we would get stuff from Rock Auto if I couldn't get it from my dealership suppliers. You pick the year, you go through all the drop-down menus, and it just makes it really easy to navigate and see what you want. Like a wheel bearing, for instance, for a Corvair that I have. Rock Auto's catalog made it really easy to find that specific one that I was looking for.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
Make Fox Sports 920 your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Brewers and Padres out there in San Diego, getting going at 8:40, about 40 minutes away. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Baseball Pregame Show. Getting you set for game 1 of this 3-game series. We'll get to our pitching matchup coming up. I saw a comment come in here on the YouTube chat. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Feel free to watch the show there. Mad City Brew said, no one else down on the farm that can play third base. Well, here's the deal. And I don't totally look. I mean, well, there's a couple things with this. A lot of people have been throwing around the name Luke Adams. I mean, anything's possible. He's hit 260, 16 home runs, 42 runs driven in. He's only played 62 games at AAA, though, this year. And I just wonder if they want to get him more experience there at AAA before they would bring him up. I also think they think Vaughn is pretty serviceable. And so you also want to get Vaughn's bat in the lineup because I think he's one of your best 9 bats. So that's something, too. Obviously, you'd pick him over Bay. as far as on the offensive side. And honestly, I don't think the defense is that much of a drop-off, hardly at all. And then secondly, if Joey Ortiz is not going on the IL, then obviously you don't have a roster spot. Now you say, well, you could get rid of Bay and put in Adams. That would be, something you could consider, but it just doesn't sound like they want to do that quite yet. So that's kind of the deal. I mean, they just, at this point, I know Blake Burke was promoted from AA to AAA today, so congratulations to him. His name was thrown around. I mean, he has just had an exceptional year in Biloxi, and now he's going to take his talents to Nashville, the former Tennessee Volunteer, coming up to AAA. But I think at this point, Jet Williams would be up if he wasn't hurt. The Jet Williams thing, and that's the most logical guy. I think we talked about this a few weeks back, and the question was asked, Hunter, who do you think is the next prospect to debut for the Brewers? And my answer there was Jet Williams. I mean, he's definitely the most likely as far as position player. And it just is, it's unfortunate that he has been hurt every time. Basically every time that the Brewers have needed someone to come up. And I thought Jet Williams would be up much earlier this year. That is something that I've been wrong about. But also injuries have played a part in that. He had just come off the IL on Saturday when in his first at-bat. So he had been on the IL for 2 weeks with a wrist injury. And in at-bat into the game, he swings. It just doesn't feel right. His wrist, he comes out of the game, and now they're going to send him to a specialist in Arizona. Now, I have not heard if that appointment has happened yet, but that is the next step for Jet Williams. If he was healthy, I think he would have been up here Sunday morning. I really do. But it's just not been the case for him, unfortunately, and just some tough luck because I have a feeling he would have definitely been considered. So it's a matter of circumstance as well. Circumstance of guys who are available, circumstance of Joey Ortiz not necessarily needing to go on the IL. So you don't necessarily need a long-term solution. You need a stopgap for a couple of days. But I mean, Ji-Hwan Bae is probably going to be around at least for the time being until Cooper Pratt comes back, I would think, unless they make a different move as far as Adams or someone else that maybe we're not thinking of. But I just think, Bae is probably going to be the answer here for at least a little while as the utility guy. And it's the same role as Braden Shoemake, right? It's the same thing. Shoemake was played 5 games with the crew, something like that. And then they let him go, and it wasn't like he was too bad, but it was also like, yeah, you're not just going to keep him around. So very interesting how that has gone, where they've needed some utility infielders this year, and they've been really, Luis Rengifo was more of a starter than a utility man, but they've kind of cycled through those infielders this year as they've tried to set that left side of the infield. I mean, what did we say coming into the season? Left side of the infield was probably one of the bigger questions. How long was Cooper Pratt going to be in the minors? How long would they keep him there? Even a Brock Wilken, but Brock Wilken is hitting under 200 in the minors this year, at AAA this year. So that again, another option that I don't think you think is probably ready yet. So that's kind of where things stand as far as the third base situation goes in the minor leagues, and especially in Nashville. Obviously, Andrew Fisher is tearing it up in Biloxi, but I just don't think that they're ready to promote him. And I just don't think you necessarily see that this year. A lot of things would have to go wrong in order for that to happen. And I don't think Andrew Fisher is coming up sometime this year. Lex says 10 of the next 13 games against teams over 500. Seattle is decent as well. Very tough stretch. You're right. And you just went through a stretch out of the All-Star break that you need to make some hay. And you kind of did. I mean, you played the Marlins, you played the Mets, you played the Giants, you played the Angels, you played the Pirates, you played the Twins. There are some okay teams in there. And of course you played the Rockies as well. You went 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 7-2, and then you went 8-4, 9-4, 10-4, 10-5, 10-6, and then 13-6, and then 15-7. So you're 15-7 since the All-Star break. That's really good. But that's what you needed to do against Miami, New York Mets, Colorado Rockies, San Francisco Giants, LA Angels, Pittsburgh Pirates, Minnesota Twins. All teams that I don't think will make the playoffs. I know Miami, Pittsburgh, and the Twins are hanging in there. Maybe the Twins get in because the AL is so weak. But otherwise, those are teams you need to beat up on. They did. That can help if you take a little swoon against some of these teams like the Padres, Dodgers, Braves, etc. The problem is you're also the Dodgers and the Braves are two teams that are battling right now for that bye in that National League. And the Dodgers have talked about taking a swoon. The Dodgers have done that. The Dodgers are now 4 games behind the Brewers for the top spot in the National League. The Braves are 3 games behind the Brewers. So the Brewers have separated themselves a little bit when it comes to that 1 seed race. But that is going to be nip and tuck. And you'd love to take 3 of 4 from LA and 2 of 3 from the Braves. And as Mad City Brew just pointed out, just win series. That's exactly it. Just win series. You don't have to sweep them. Just win the series. Maybe you'll lose 1. And if you're going to lose 1 over this stretch, make it Seattle. I know it's not going to feel as good, but you want to beat the teams you're competing with. San Diego, as I mentioned, 62-57. They're 3rd place in the NL West, 8.5 games behind the Dodgers. They are also just 1 game out of a playoff spot right now. They're 1 game behind that 3rd wild card as things sit right now in the National League wild card. The interesting thing, too, is I sit and see these wild card standings. So the Pirates were buyers at the deadline. Like, they went and got Luke Weaver, arguably the best reliever on the market at the trade deadline. And they are now 3-7 in their last 10, and they're 5.5 out of a playoff spot with 4 teams ahead of them. That's just a fascinating franchise, I tell you. My, oh my. All right, that is some of the background on the San Diego Padres. A look at kind of some of the overall themes surrounding the Milwaukee Brewers. But let's start looking at the pitching matchup, because tonight it features Logan Henderson, 6-1 with a 2.70 ERA, and Casey Mize on the mound for the Padres, the former Tiger, 4-7 with a 3.40 ERA. Henderson making his 11th start of the season tonight. First career start against the Padres. Last time out against Pittsburgh, it was very, very good. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 Ks, threw 83 pitches, earned a 4-2 win. The Brewers are 8-2 in starts of Logan Henderson this year. He has done so well. Opponents are batting 193 against him this year, and he's given up. I mean, this stat just says it all. He's given up 2 or less earned runs in 14 of his 15 career starts. It has been exceptional from Logan Henderson. And as much as we wanted Scooble, boy, it's nice to have this guy on your team. No doubt about it. By the way, career on the road for Logan Henderson. He is 4-1 with a 3.82 ERA in his career. Sorry, 2.82. Beg your pardon. Okay, let's restart with that. Career on the road, 4-1 with a 2.82 ERA. And Q says, I love that Henderson wants to be a Brewer. That too, right? He said, I'm a Brewer. When we talked to him after that last start, after those trade rumors were circling, he's a Brewer, no doubt about it. Casey Mize on the other side, trying to bounce back from his rough start for the San Diego Padres in his debut as a Padre. 3 1/3 of 8-run ball. Woo! Let's see if the Brewers can do that again tonight against them. Before that, in July, he had a really good July, and that was why he was one of the better arms on the market at the trade deadline if the Tigers were going to sell, which they did. He had a 2.91 ERA in July. Really good pitcher overall. So Brewers have their work cut out for him against Casey Mize tonight, the right-hander. But they are, also, though, Brewers, we'll see if they can do what Arizona did last week against Casey Mize. Let's get to our bullpen report, which is brought to you by Community Roofing and Restoration. And let's take a look at who is available and who is not available for the Brewers in their bullpen. Unfortunately, I don't think Abner Uribe or Trevor McGill are going to be available. They've pitched 4 out of the last 6 days, including the last 2. Abner threw 33 pitches yesterday. The Brewers might have to win this one. If it's a close one late, they might have to win this one without their A bullpen. Chad Patrick pitched 16 pitches on Saturday. I think Chad Patrick is probably available tonight. He could be one of those. He got the save in one of those games against Pittsburgh. Lyon Richardson, he has not pitched since being promoted to the majors. He is available. DL Hall threw 11 pitches yesterday. I would think he is available. He didn't pitch before that since Thursday. Antonio Sensatella hasn't pitched since Friday. He's available. Aaron Ashby has pitched 3 out of the last 4, including the last 2. I don't think Ashby. So I think you're going to have to win this game tonight without McGill, without Uribe, and without Ashby. So you're going to have to find a way and think about that too. You also need Logan Henderson to go deep in this baseball game. I mean, you're going with a 6-man rotation right now, and that prohibits you from having one more guy in that bullpen. Usually you'd have one more guy in that bullpen, and that would be 8 arms in that bullpen. So then if 3 are down, you still have 5 to work with. Well, 3 are down tonight, and you only have 4 to work with, and that one arm can be very significant. And that's why they DFA'd Bryce Wilson over the weekend, was because they just needed another arm after he threw 3 innings the night before. Like, could he have gone back? Probably. Could he have gone back the next night? Probably, but you don't necessarily want to risk it. So again, McGill, Uribe, and Ashby probably not available. Everybody else probably is coming into tonight's game. And so that's something to look out for tonight, because you get late in the ball game and it's close. You are going to have to do it without your 3 main guys. That's the Bullpen Report, brought to you by Community Roofing and Restoration. Beauty, durability, and excellence since 1975. When we come back, we'll give you the lineups one more time, get to any last comments we see here on YouTube, Facebook, and X, and we will also make sure to get you a couple of fast facts to make you a little smarter as you watch tonight's late night game in San Diego for the Brewers. It's the Brewers and the Padres, 8:40 first pitch. I'm getting you ready for it. It's the Baseball Pregame Show with me, Hunter Baumgardt, presented by Import Minded on Fox Sports 920.
Modern laminate is an indistinguishable from hardwood, water, pet, and child-resistant home value increasing upgrade. But you say, Dave, we want the sound deadening and warmth underfoot of carpet. Flawless has countless flooring choices, including quality luxury carpet lines. We are your one-stop flooring shop. Flawless's employee craftsmen eliminate stains and steamy stink with a carpet knife and dumpster, then perfectly install luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, modern laminate, or carpeting. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Charged with an OWI, it's not just a ticket. It's on your record permanently and can affect your career or your ability to travel. One mistake shouldn't ruin your life. Contact Grieve Law for your OWI defense. GrieveLaw.com.
This is Andy Fisher, owner of Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. Before you hire anyone, here's what you need to know. Your floor is only as good as the company installing it. We're a local, family-run Wisconsin business that's completed thousands of floors right here in your community. From garage floors to patios, pool decks, and large commercial industrial spaces, we do it right. Our coating system is built for Wisconsin and up to 6 times stronger than epoxy. Don't gamble on your concrete. Choose proven results. Visit wiconcretecoatings.com or call 262-804-0066.
Tracy, why is there a goat in the driveway?
I need a new furnace and I can't afford it, so I'm bartering. Meet my down payment.
You can't pay for a furnace with a goat.
He's worth so much, he does tricks.
Capital does 0% financing for up to 60 months on a new heating and cooling system. No interest, no livestock.
I can keep my money and stay warm?
And get a free second opinion first. Call Capital.
Call CapitalCares.com.
Ross Dental's extremely accurate laser dentistry saves irreplaceable tooth, is painless for most patients with 0 shots or anesthesia. If fear of pain has prohibited you from smiling like you just don't care, Ross Dental is pain-free, judgment-free, cutting-edge dentistry. RossDentalNewBerlin.com.
It's a summer of big wins with WinFest at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Just play with your Potawatomi Rewards card for entries and your chance to win cash and reward play all summer long. Then keep the excitement going, because all your monthly drawing entries roll over into the WinFest final drawings on September 25th, where you could win cars, dream vacations, free play, and cash. Don't miss out on WinFest, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Dan Voss from Cut and Go here. In the days after 9/11, workers discovered a crushed, scorched, yet still surviving pear tree. New York Parks transplanted it to the Bronx nursery, nursed it back to health, and replanted the survivor tree at ground zero as a symbol of American resilience.
I'm Willow Voss, and that makes me want to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your head. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the cut-and-go remote-controlled automobile-mounted articulated crane grapple saw operators put your dead trees on the ground or remove branches over something important. Happy 250th anniversary.
An all-American tons of trees movement. cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
Water running back to your foundation due to settling concrete can lead to extremely expensive foundation repairs, even mold and bacteria in your home. MudTech
262-337-0934.
Call MudTech for a free estimate today.
Life is unpredictable. Estate planning helps your family face the unknown when you are incapacitated or gone. Do you have a will and power of attorney ready? GrieveCivilLaw.com. Plan today. Have peace of mind tomorrow.
If you need someone to fix or replace your furnace or air conditioner, do you want the owner of the company or some guy that claims to be a plumber? Billy Schmidt here. Easy choice for me. Give me the owner. That's why Donovan Jorgensen Heating and Cooling is the clear choice. They're my choice, the largest employee-owned HVAC company in the state of Wisconsin. These owners are hardworking, honest Wisconsin people. They've been doing great work for over 40 years, and you can ask them about their 60-month, 0% interest deal on select systems going on now at donovanjorgensen.com for more information.
Final couple of minutes of the baseball pregame show. Brewers and Padres 20 minutes away in San Diego. Start of a West Coast trip. 7 games in 7 days. Let's start with the lineups because I want to get to some comments by Pat Murphy here before the game today about his lineup. So let's start with tonight's starting lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. Leading off at second base, Bryce Terang. Batting second in the left field, Jackson Churio. Batting third at first base, Jake Bowers. Cleanup hitters, the third baseman, Andrew Vaughn. Batting fifth in center field, Garrett Mitchell. Batting sixth behind the plate, William Contreras. Batting seventh as the DH, Christian Yelich. Batting eighth in right field, Luis Lara. And batting ninth at shortstop is David Hamilton. For the Brewers, it's Terang, Churio, Bowers, Vaughn, Mitchell, Contreras, Yelich, Lara, and Hamilton. Brewers manager Pat Murphy talking about Contreras hitting sixth and Yelich hitting seventh. Quote, this is per Kurt Hogan, the Journal Sentinel. Quote, it would make a huge difference if they start to perform and get the results they've gotten in the past. I firmly believe that will happen. But if it doesn't, we're going to get other people ready. I trust them. That's interesting. So, he's like, I firmly believe that they're going to hit like they have in the past. But if it doesn't, we're going to get other people ready to hit there in the 3 and 4 spot. Tonight it's Bowers at 3. And it is Vaughn at 4. Pat Murphy also saying about the lineup change, saying, quote, it's not meant to be motivating. It's meant to be what's best for our team right now. Good on Pat Murphy. Not afraid to just make that move. And it may not be incredibly popular with the players, although I think they understand, especially Yelly, has obviously understood. And I would think that William Contreras is also in the same boat, understanding that they got to do what's best for the ball club. And that's exactly what the Brewers have done and why they won yesterday. And, Pat Murphy saying that was quite a team win. And I think, this team has shown that they do what's best for the team. For the San Diego Padres, leading off at right field, Fernando Tatis Jr. Batting second at second base, Jake Cronenworth. Batting third at third base, Manny Machado. The cleanup hitter is the first baseman, Ty France. Batting fifth in center field, Jackson Merrill. Batting sixth in left field, Luis Rengifo. Batting seventh as the DH, Gavin Sheets. Batting eighth and behind the plate, Freddie Fermin. And batting ninth and at shortstop for the San Diego Padres tonight, Sung Moon Song. For the Padres, it's Tatis Jr., Cronenworth, Machado, France, Merrill, Rengifo, Sheets, Fermin, and Song. Those are your starting lineups for the Brewers and the Padres coming into tonight's matchup, start of a 3-game series. The 3-game series begins tonight with Logan Henderson on the mound for the Crew, Casey Mize on the mound for the San Diego Padres at Petco Park. Then tomorrow, Kyle Harrison is back. Kyle Harrison against Walker Buehler. I forgot Walker Buehler was even on the Padres. And then Dustin May in the finale on Wednesday against Robbie Ray, who they acquired at the trade deadline. I know we had let's see, Man City Bruce says, love getting Harrison, but the trade drained the utility position. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and we actually had this discussion in the press box the other night about, kind of would you do the trade again, right? You get Drowan, you get Hamilton, and you get Harrison for Durbin, Monasterio, and Siegler, all contributing for the Boston Red Sox, who have been the hottest team in baseball for the last month and a half or so. But Caleb Durbin, obviously you gave up your third base position, and so you had to fill that somehow. Now they're still the best team in baseball, so I'm not going to say the trade didn't work out. But yes, you depleted your utility. And so I have thought since the minute that trade was made, two things. For this trade to work, for you to trade away your third baseman, Kyle Harrison needed to be a really good pitcher, probably a 2 in the rotation. He's done that. Also, David Hamilton you're best suited with David Hamilton as your utility guy. Now, he hasn't really been that. He's been more of a starter than a utility guy overall. So I think you're still waiting for that. Because I think if Joey's healthy and Pratt's healthy, I would love for kind of David Hamilton to be your utility guy, but I don't know. And because especially how hot Joey has been. So, and then Drowan, I think, as much as he's been pretty good starting, he didn't have a great outing last time. I think he's decent in the he's better in the bullpen as we've seen so far. So maybe he can get back there once the 6-man rotation stops. That's it for the baseball pregame show, folks. 8:40 first pitch between the Brewers and the Padres. Thanks so much for listening. One more programming note. We are going to be off for the rest of the week. No pregame shows. I know I'll miss it too, but we'll be back coming up next week. Thursday night, no Milwaukee baseball tonight because the Packers play on Fox Sports 920 against the Steelers. This has been the baseball pregame show. I'm Hunter Baumgardt right here on Fox Sports 920. Have a great night.
Does your old roof have you stressed? Shingles look like